Good day, folks. This is Spring Screen again, and this is a continuation of yesterday's video where we were looking at Wes Martin's article where he claimed that the current claiming system at Caymanas Park is the reason for the decline of horse racing at Caymanas Park, and he stated that the claiming system is the reason for the decline of horse racing in North America. Because I knew that you didn't want to sit down and listen to me talk for 35 to 40 minutes, I decided to end yesterday's video by comparing the current claiming system at Caymanas Park to the old-time system and stating my opinion on which I think is better. For today's video, I'll be looking at the actual reasons for the decline of horse racing in North America and Jamaica, of course, being that we're Jamaican. So we do know that horse racing was once the dominant spectator sport in North America, but over the years, we've seen a steady decline, which has been happening for the past few decades. Horse racing was once dubbed the sport of kings. It was a staple of entertainment, attracting massive crowds, heavy betting, and cultural significance. However, despite its rich history and deep-rooted traditions, horse racing has struggled to maintain its relevancy in modern America. A combination of factors include ethical concerns, competition from other forms of entertainment, regulatory challenges, declining public interest, and financial struggles. Many older fans of horse racing in Jamaica will remember the days when we had many big races that were backed by heavyweight corporate companies in Jamaica. Yes, we do still have 1 and 2 races that are backed by heavyweights in Jamaica, but it seems as if Supreme Venture is usually the one that is carrying the bulk of the sponsorship these days. This is the same thing that has happened in many tracks at North America. So we'll be looking at each of these reasons individually. Before we continue, I should point out that horse racing has a long and storied history in North America. The sport gained popularity in the 19th century and the early 20th century with races such as the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness Stake, and the Belmont Stake becoming hallmark events that define the Triple Crown. In the 20th century, tracks like Santa Anita, Belmont Park, and Churchill Downs were premier destinations for fans and bettors alike. During its peak, horse racing was not only a major form of gambling, but also a prestigious social event attended by the elite. However, since the later part of the 20th century, horse racing has experienced a steady decline in attendance, revenue, and cultural significance. Once considered a mainstream sport, it has been overtaken by other forms of gambling, sport entertainment, and digital gaming. So, here are the reasons which, in my opinion, have nothing to do with the current claiming system. First, let us look at changing public perception and animal welfare concern. One of the most significant reasons for the decline of horse racing in North America is the growing concern over animal welfare. Over the years, increasing media coverage and activism have shed light on the ethical issues surrounding the treatment of racehorses. Reports of horse injuries and death on racetracks, particularly high-profile incidents at major races, have led to a widespread criticism of the sports. And don't forget about the use of performance-enhancing drugs, improper training method, and overbreeding, which have also contributed to negative perception of the industry. In 2019, the death of over 30 horses at Santa Anita Park within a single racing season sparked public outrage, leading to regulatory scrutiny and stricter safety measures. The ethical debate surrounding horse racing has driven away younger audience who are more conscious of animal rights, causing a decline in new fans and participants. Organizations such as PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, and other advocacy groups have continuously highlighted cases of mistreatment, leading to calls for bans or stricter regulations in some regions. In response, some racetracks have implemented reform, but the damage to the sport reputation has already had a long-term impact. Now, let's talk about the economic and financial challenges. Those of us who know of the work of historian Eric Williams from Trinidad will know that at the end of the day, money is what makes the world spin. Eric Williams postulated that slavery in the Caribbean ended as a result of it no longer being financially viable. So regardless of all that is happening in the wider horse racing community, we have to look at the economic and financial challenges to understand why it is declining outside of the ethical concern over the treatment of horse racing. The costs associated with maintaining horse racing operations are very substantial, including breeding, training, taking care of the horses, and maintaining the facilities. You would have noticed in one of my previous videos, I called out Caymanas Park for allowing animals, goats, to run across the track. But to properly secure a facility the size of Caymanas Park to prevent these things from happening takes a lot of money. Smaller tracks in North America struggle to stay profitable, leading to closure of these tracks. Now, horse racing rely heavily on gambling revenue. The punters are who make the industry ticks. And I keep saying that the punters are the most important part of the horse racing family. Owners, trainers, jockey, groom, and all the other persons are very important, but they are not as important as the punters. They are nowhere as important as the punters, regardless of what anyone wants to say. The empirical evidence is there. Once the punters decided that they're going to take their money elsewhere, such as casinos, online sport betting, and even fantasy sports, we have seen many tracks across America collapsing. About 30 to 40 years ago, horse racing was one of the few legal betting options available. But today, gamblers have a vast array of choices. The emergence of online betting platforms and mobile apps has made it easier for bettors to engage with sports like football, basketball, mixed martial arts, and other sports. Now, to tell you the truth, when I was working at a particular corporate company in Jamaica, most of the males were interested in some form of gambling. However, what I noted was that the older males were interested in horse racing, while the younger males were more interested in football betting, even dog racing, basketball, and other sports at AnyBet and JustBet, and were very much not interested in horse racing. This competition from other forms of entertainment is what is killing the industry. It is not any claiming system. It is not any classification of race horses. The product is simple, not attractive to younger viewers as it is to older viewers. And the reality is, if the sport is not able to capture the imagination of the younger members of society, the 18, the 19, the 20, 21, 22, those younger folks, the same way that sports betting on football, NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, those type of sports are able to capture the imagination of the younger members of societies, we will see that regardless of however we decide to classify our horses, we will end up with a situation where the industry will collapse. The last time I went to Caymanas Park, you would see a mixture of both young and old. However, it must be noted that the young that you see are generally youth from the community who will grow up to be future jockeys, future trainers, future grooms, future punters, but the numbers is not great enough to sustain the industry. So it comes down to two major things. Changing public perception and the decline in the gambling dollar coming towards horse racing. If both of those are fixed, then we can see the sport of kings returning back to its glory days. Until then, we can beat this dead horse talking about the claiming system, or we can do what is needed to fix the sports. This is Spring Screen, the home of erudite discussion.